We're good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And we are talking Obi Wan episode 3. No subtitles at all with this. I'm here with a whole bunch of Star Wars fans. I'm about to call you Trekkie fans, but no, that was the wrong franchise. Star Wars fans, and then we have cousin Cheeto. How you doing, mate?
Doing good. As an American white straight male, I am here to give the opposite opinion because I am obligated to hate the black protagonist? No, antagonist. Of this series because I am a bigot. Hear me roar. You know what? Let's just so.
You know what? I'm hoping people can see through your sarcasm, or they might think you're like a geeks and gamers type right now. So you never know. Yeah, geeks and Ginger Greek. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good.
All right. And Darth Mason, how you doing, mate?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Now, before we progress with what we're going to be talking about, first of all, let me just quickly get to the chat here. Welcome back, Daniel Vance. I hope you're good and on hospital. Thank you very much for advertising our channel. And happy Pride Month to you, mate, as well. Chappelle Studio says, "Oh, Daniel, we love you." Yes, we do. And cheers. And Chappelle Studios has also said he hasn't seen the episode yet. He's going to duck out. Man, I do love the villains in this show.
Yeah, hopefully You're not here at the moment because we don't want to hit you with spoilers or anything. So spoiler warning for everyone, obviously.
No, before we start breaking down the episode, as I always do, I'd like to ask you what you thought of this episode just as a whole. I'm going to start with myself this particular time, and I have to say there is something about the look of this show that just makes it feel cheap. Am I being a bit harsh? By saying that, it just like I want my Star Wars shows to resemble the Star Wars movies, and I am not sure that it does too much. And before I pass it on to the other guys, I just want to quickly get to Jim here. Jim Landscape, we have done that review for you, mate. We have done it. It'll be coming out on NerdTube very soon. So prepare to hear what me and Cheetah have to say about that. Okay. Cheetah, what did you think of this episode as a whole?
It was an episode. I really liked the first half. The second half got bloated and up its own ass. And so I mean, as a whole, like, is an alright episode. I really feel like they blew their load with Vader just because they could. And we'll get to that in the breakdown, and I'll get to why. But I really find it funny that all these people attacked the actress, the antagonist, the actress of this show, and I can't remember Israel
Moses Ingram, who plays Reva, third sister.
I really find it funny that they all attacked her, in the first two episodes, and now she's almost been relegated to a secondary character because Vader showed up. Hopefully this will be the only episode that Vader's really in. That's my hope. That we're kind of putting Obi Wan in just like a really bad place, and maybe now she can take center stage again, because I really like her as the antagonist of this series. I didn't want Vader this soon. I honestly didn't care to get Vader at all, truth be told. I know he had to be in it. I know they announced it. It's not a surprise, but I can dream, can't I? That's it.
Fair enough. Ginger Greek.
I liked it up until they met. Up until that point, it was way better than the first two episodes. But then they just shit the bed with the dialogue and illogical plotting, which I'll elaborate more on later.
Okay, and Darth Mason.
Zam, I have to disagree or just a difference of opinion, really. When you talk about this show in general, like looking cheap or not looking movie quality, what the hell show are you watching? Did we watch the same show? Because I think, like, aesthetically, like, it's beautifully shot. It's very, cinematic. It's very, the landscapes and the scenery and everything are to me, are breathtaking. I think it's I think it's beautifully shot and cut and all that, and I mean, it looks and feels very Star Wars movie to me. It doesn't look like a TV show. So I, I don't know what you're seeing, but I think it looks great. Story wise, this episode in general to me was just kind of more of the same. It seemed to kind of stagnate. Not a lot of progression. Just like I said, more of the same. It's just kind of felt like a bit of filler. And then, of course, with the I didn't want to see a confrontation or a meeting between Vader and Kenobi at all, because to me, doing that, just the act of doing that, is retconning the interaction between Obi Wan and Vader in the very first Star Wars movie. When last we met, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. Well,
just to add to that, though, Mason, they did retcon what they did with Episode 3 when Anakin and Obi Wan were about to fight Darth Maul, and they said this time we'll fight him together, basically referencing what happened in Episode 2. But because of the Clone Wars animated saga, Count Dooku, sorry, but because of the Clone Wars episode saga, that kind of changed all of that, because fucking Anakin and Obi-Wan fought Count Dooku countless times during the Clone Wars. So now they're probably referencing a fight they had in the Clone Wars, if you know what I mean. So
maybe
that was a retcon in that particular sense, if you know what I mean.
I just say I wouldn't bother like people getting too bogged down on the contradictions, because Star Wars is a contradiction since its inception. The minute the prequels happened, it contradicted itself. So I think that's just one thing I've just given up on nitpicking at, because because I have little to no respect to the franchise anymore anyway. At the moment, I'm just, just ignore whatever happened previously, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Because that's where I personally am with the franchise at this current time.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Luke Skywalker was supposed to be the last Jedi in Empire Strikes Back when he's being trained by Yoda. Or actually, the last Jedi after Yoda dies in Return of the Jedi. And during that particular period, there's several fucking Jedis scattered around the fucking galaxy. He isn't the last. But yeah, so who gives a fuck anymore? You know what I mean? All right. So let's break down this episode, fellas. So we have, first of all, I'm going to shorten my breakdowns a bit so we don't ponder on too long. First of all, we have Obi-Wan calling for Qui-Gon. You guys believe Qui-Gon's going to eventually show up in this show?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
He's going to show up with a lightsaber and fight Darth Vader is what's going to happen.
Fair enough.
With a certain set of skills.
Yeah,
for sure. You could have substituted one-handed Jamie Lannister for Obi-Wan in the end, right? And I'd not have been able to tell the difference. They looked and thought the same. Well, they were kind of cumbersome in A New Hope, so it's kind of playing on that a little bit. Vader, when we see Vader, like he's getting his suit on, and what I thought of was Iron Man when he gets his fucking suit on. I'm not sure if any of you guys thought the same thing. No?
I thought the same thing, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like,
like,
is Pepper Potts about to come around or Palpatine Potts is going to come around the corner going, and then he's going to be like, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
Yeah. We get Vader. We get Vader's palace on Mustafar. Good to hear James Earl Jones once again in his 90s now, voicing this particular character. I don't know how long they can push this for until they'll have to create it from thin air.
Peter Serafinowicz can happily step in and take over, because Peter Serafinowicz has voiced Vader perfectly. If you watch the sketch show that he did, if you just go Google Peter Serafinowicz and Darth Vader, and you'll see his voice is indistinguishable from James Earl Jones.
And I mean, he did sound a lot better, because I was thinking in Rogue One and I don't remember what else he would, but there have been times recently, since Disney bought, that I've heard Darth Vader's talking, and it's just sounded horrible. And I'm like, ooh, James Earl Jones sounds bad, but in this one he didn't sound too bad.
Yeah, and he speaks to to Reva, and he wants to get Obi Wan. That's all he cares about now, and he doesn't give a shit about the old Inquisitor dying, the old Grand Inquisitor dying. But he basically tells Reva, "Look, you get Obi Wan for me, and I'll make you the new Grand Inquisitor." He understands her ambition, and that's what it's like to be a Sith. It's about ambition, isn't it? I mean, it's all about trying to reach to the top and stuff like that. And so, yeah, Obi-Wan repairs Lola, which is a nice little touch. So batteries are not included for Lola. And then he explains the Force, and it feels like turning on a light in the dark, and it makes you feel safe. How do you guys feel about that, Darth Mason, with the Force explanation?
That was an interesting analogy. I mean, I didn't read too much into it. Just took it for what it was. I'm like, okay, makes sense.
Ginger, are you happy with that explanation of the Force?
Yeah,
it feels like switching on the
fine.
lights.
Yeah, it was well said, and yes, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Better than midichlorians.
Yeah, and Cheeto.
That's what I think of the Force.
Fair enough.
You just like to choke yourself. That's all you like to do.
Okay, well, quickly before I continue, let's quickly go into the chat. Leia chase scene at the start was so over the top bad. 3 grown old. Oh yeah, that was from the previous episode. 3 grown adults can't. Yeah, first episode. Some of the worst hired henchmen. Well, yeah, I mean it was terribly directed, unfortunately, and you gotta give blame to Deborah Chow on that one. Low LA59 name is a nod to the Weird Al song Yoda. A parody. Yep, I know that song. Yep, I listen to it all the time. I listen to Weird Al's parodies more than I listen to the original songs. I mean, I will not listen to Living in America. I like to listen to Living with a Hernia. It's just so much better. You know what I mean? It's just so much fucking better. All right. Where are we? So the freighter lands on a semi-desert like planet. I mean, they loved even though this planet's got a little bit of greenery, it's still a deserty like looking planet, and it's called Mputo. I hope I got the saying right. I might have got it wrong. Once a fertile planet until the Empire came along and they ravaged it, and they took all the fucking everything from it. And then Obi-Wan starts hallucinating, and we see Anakin in Jedi robes. What do you guys think of that? Ginger Greek.
Yeah, nice bit of PTSD moment there.
Yeah, nothing Force related, I believe. Cheetah?
Yeah.
Listen, if they wanted to do a PTSD moment, all they'd have to do is have Jar Jar Binks jump over the edge and be like, Annie!
I think, honestly, you might say that's PTSD, but I think Obi-Wan will be very happy to see him personally. And Darth Mason.
I don't know. I don't really have much to say about that. It was a bit of fan service, I guess, but it's kind of an eerie moment.
It was good to see Hayden Christensen properly, even though it was like a blink and you miss it. Good to see him properly on our screens after God knows how long. So we have an Inquisitor pissing session with Han from Fast and the Furious being the 5th brother, I believe, wanting to be the leader now of the Grand Inquisitor leader, and basically Reva trying to bust his balls, saying that she's relaying orders from Vader, and obviously Han being a bit find that a bit whimsical, so to speak, because she's getting information from Vader, and Vader's they're all sucking up to Vader basically. I mean, they're sucking his teeth. And then we see the drones getting sent out. Do you guys like that? Drones being shot out like a fucking ejaculation.
Standard.
No, into space. Yeah, okay.
Fine. I mean, it was good to see the other end of the
probe. You skipped past the more interesting part of discussion, which is about the ambitiousness of the whole situation with the third sister and Vader and the other Inquisitors and all that. And I thought that kind of dynamic is really, really good, and I actually enjoying that in the show. Just seeing just how ruthless and ambitious all these Siths are. I don't care if they're not called Sith; they're fucking Sith. Okay, just seeing how ambitious and ruthless they are, and they're always trying to one up each other, and it's like, and that's why they're like, well, this is why we have the rule of 2, because everyone's just always trying to kill each other all the time, and I just find that dynamic excellent. It maybe should have been its own show though, because it does draw away from Kenobi, but at the same time, you can't just have villains show up and do nothing and have no kind of character. So there's always that balance, but I'm enjoying that aspect.
Backdoor pilot. That's what this is.
Could be.
Oh, you mean spin-off?
Well, backdoor pilot to a spin-off. I wouldn't mind an Inquisitor series, like if they spun it off, and I don't want it to be a prequel. I mean, I don't mind if like
Everything's a prequel, dude.
well, okay, a prequel to the fucking original trilogy or what?
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't
Yeah,
be a
but
prequel.
no-
Oh yeah, it would be a prequel to the original trilogy. Everything would be.
Yeah,
At
but
this
there's
point.
no Inquisitors from the original trilogy. Like there's only two Sith, you know, the Emperor and Palpatine. Sorry, Palpatine and Vader. You know, so I mean, Inquisitors eventually will die off.
That we know of, because remember, all the Jedi died off too.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be like working for the Empire. They might be like, you know, just in hiding and stuff because they're shit scared of Vader. But they won't be like doing any Sith business, so to speak.
So here's what they should do. They should get in a TIE fighter. They should fly around the sun at Mach 10. And then what they can do is they can go back in time 500 years, and then they can start the Sith. Well, not start the Sith. I know they've been around for thousands of years. But
Well,
still,
in the books, a particular Sith ship from the Old Republic era landed on this planet. It was like a primitive planet, so they didn't have like technology and stuff like that. And they've been living on that planet with, you know, creating different generations of Sith, breeding with the natural population, for like 5,000 years until it gets discovered again. You know, and then they find out there's a whole fucking planet full of fucking Sith.
Yeah,
So,
didn't that lead up to like the Old Republic?
Well, this was happened during the Old Republic era, but then it went all the way. Like after 5,000 years of like Sith breeding on this planet, it went up to and only a handful of lightsabers as well. It went up to original trilogy era, just after Return of the Jedi in the Legends in the Legends
You see,
era.
this is what I mean.
In the Legends
Ignore
era,
the main continuity. They'll just make anything up as they go along.
Exactly. So, like, I mean, that was really good as well. I mean, reading those books back then. But all right. So where are we now? So Obi Wan, you know, is like kind of a skeptical guy now. Like he thinks everyone will betray them because, you know, he just doesn't trust anyone anymore. And Leia is young and naive and flags an Empire mining vehicle for a lift. And then they get on that lift, and then we have one of the first interesting moments of this episode. A bunch of stormtroopers joins them, telling the driver that they're also looking for a Jedi. Just so happens to be one there. I'm surprised none of them has an idea or like been given any information about what Obi-Wan looks like, considering they were like posting pictures of Obi-Wan in the previous fucking episode. But fair enough. What did you guys think of that like interactions? Like, because Obi-Wan was making up a story about their dead wife, and he calls Leia when he was not supposed to. You know, he slips up and then made up the fact that, you know, his dead wife was called Leia, and the fucking stormtroopers being fucking idiots believe that shit. What did you guys think of all of that? I'll start with you, Cheeto.
I mean, this was fine. It was a bit of good cat and mouse with them sitting there like in the lion's den with the stormtroopers. I kind of wanted the stormtroopers to be really nice guys. Like I wanted them to be like really good with kids and stuff like that, and just like, oh, I love kids. You know, like giving them a little bit more personality. Just like, yeah, we're troopers, but we're like, you know, the Empire's still kind of in its infancy. If you think about it, like, it's about 10 years ish. Because the Republic, I mean, isn't the Senate still around right now? Because it was just dissolved at the beginning of A New Hope. So even though the Empire's around, so it's like, and even the lady in this episode, or you know, the one we'll get to in a little bit. I mean, she's, you know, she's like, I got into it for the right reasons. But you know, maybe one of them's a jerk, and then another one's really good with kids, and because they've done the whole dickish stormtrooper thing in like The Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I mean, they've done that to death. It's like I kind of wanted something different, but I mean, it was fine. Like it was just nice to kind of see Obi-Wan.
We got something different. His name was Finn. Anyway, Ginger Greek, what you got to say?
Yeah, I like this. I like this little bit here. It's a nice bit of tension. You know, are they going to break into a fight here? And it's nice to see like Obi Wan just is still like just you can tell he's been a complete recluse because his story's all over the place. He can't really keep it together. He's kind of struggling like from how good he used to be to what he is now. The only thing I did like is when they thank the stormtroopers thank the driver. I was just like, "What are you being nice for? You're a fucking stormtrooper," you know.
That's what I wanted. I wanted nice stormtroopers.
Shut up, you soft bastard.
Yeah, yeah. They were cool. They were cool with the driver though, and
Yeah,
Mason.
sorry. So obviously, yeah, the stuff they're talking about was nice. Kind of him reminiscing about Padme and the way he was talking to Leia about that, and yeah, then we got like, we haven't moved on to the bit afterwards where they get off and they do more about Obi's backstory. So I'll talk
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So, Mason.
Yes, Cheeto. I also wanted to see the stormtroopers be nice guys and more likable and have more character about them and everything. Right before Obi-Wan guns them all down and like cuts one of them in half. You know?
I mean, you guys have been watching too much Robot Chicken. That's what you guys have been doing. Too much Robot Chicken. Yeah.
I was being
I
sarcastic.
watch Robot Chicken. I've seen clips. I just don't watch it.
Robot Chicken was awesome. Okay, let's have a quick look at the chat here. I enjoyed hearing Obi-Wan talk about what you remembered of his family. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Obi-Wan possibly has a brother out there somewhere. Yeah, I don't really care. The difference is I have a brother out there too. He's not going to fucking take over from me on NerdTube, for fuck's sake.
It was
yeah.
It was theorized. Yeah. It was theorized when a leaked script years before the prequel trilogy came out. There was a leaked script for the third movie in the prequel trilogy, and it was at the time it was called Fall of the Republic. And it was theorized after that came out that Owen Lars was actually Obi-Wan's brother, not Anakin's.
Oh,
of course, then the prequel trilogy, we find Owen is Anakin's not brother, like stepbrother. They're not even really family. Yeah,
that would be the worst because it would make when Obi-Wan and Luke discovered that the dead bodies of the Lars. It would like Obi-Wan would be distraught that his brother's fucking dead. Like that makes no fucking sense because he wasn't that distraught. He just accepted it. Yeah. Anyway, welcome A-Train. By the way, we'll be doing a review of The Boys coming this Friday. I can't wait. Triple bill, baby. This was easily the best episode so far. He thinks, and Daniel Vance said kind of like thanks him for that, and A-Train thanks Daniel Vance back for that. Okay, so Leia happens to knows that Obi-Wan knows her mother, so Leia knows that she is adopted. But we kind of got that earlier on, I believe, when she was called an outcast or some shit like that by her step cousin, and she actually asked if Obi-Wan's her father, and Obi-Wan wished he was, but he's not. He obviously knows that, and then Obi-Wan starts talking about being inducted into the Jedi and believing he has a brother, but we kind of already glossed over that, so we'll move on. Unless you guys got any more to say.
I mean, I like the idea of Obi-Wan. Like this is new territory, and as I said, we don't need to have like all the details of his past, but I do like the fact that he's like, I do remember like my father, my mother, because Obi-Wan was taken into the Jedi, but he wasn't like a baby. He was young, but he wasn't like a baby. So it's good to hear that, like, you have that he has those little glimpses, and it's like he said, possibly a brother, maybe. And I mean, not that I want it to be a spinoff, or not that I want it to become a big thing in this series or anything like that, but it's just that little bit of character building that I really liked, and what I really appreciated about this episode. As I said, we're getting to the point that I'm just like, God, this episode needs to pull its head out of its ass.
Yeah, I do agree. So, the mining vehicle arrives at the laser gate with more troopers. A surveillance droid arrives and scans Obi-Wan's face. Obi-Wan shoots it, leading to an action scene, and a trooper being cut in half with a Wilhelm scream. What do you guys think of that? Start with you, Darth Mason.
Sorry, run that by me one more time.
Basically, when they arrive at that laser gate, and obviously the drone comes along, scans Obi-Wan's face, he pulls out his blaster, starts shooting people with more precision this time, by the way, because that one guy's holding Leia hostage and he shoots him perfectly, unlike the previous episode where this one guy's just standing in the fucking open and he's fucking missing him. But this time he's able to shoot everyone, no problem whatsoever. And then we get this one geezer getting shot, falling down, hits those lasers, gets cut in half. Absolutely love that shit. I always like it when Disney throws me, a pleasant surprise. Like, oh wow! Every time we see shit like that, you think, wow, that's happened with Disney. So yeah, it's always a pleasant surprise. But what did you think of the action scene?
I liked that. It was cool seeing Obi Wan being a badass with a blaster again, and more so this time than before, like you said. And the trooper getting cut in half on the laser gate was just cool as shit.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Yeah.
Cheeto.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this section. I mean, it was good to see. It was good to see Obi-Wan using some of that training, because we all forget that Jedis are also trained fighters. And I get it, he's rusty, so it's like, yeah, he's not like that great, but still, I mean, you even said it. He's kind of getting a little bit of that rust off, starting to blast a little bit better, but he is trained. He doesn't have to use the Force to actually, fight. The stormtrooper getting chopped in half, although not very gruesome. We kind of knew that wasn't coming because, I mean, it's a light barricade, and of course it singed his body as it went over, but still funny. It's a different way to kill a stormtrooper, that we've never seen before that I recall. So, although not how we haven't seen a Captain Carter become before.
Okay, Ginger Greek.
Yeah, it was good. Nice little action scene. Very much bloody needed as well, because the whole thing's a bit light on the action. So it was nice seeing that. It was nice seeing Obi kind of getting his ring rust off and into more of what he used to be like. You'll probably see that more as the series kind of progresses. And Stormtrooper getting cut in half was a very, very pleasant surprise. And then they derail it by being completely stupid, because he battles to turn off the lasers to go through the barricade. I'm thinking he's going to take the vehicle through, but no, it's just a walk through, and he could have just literally just walked to the side.
I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I thought they were going to drive the vehicle off, and I'm like, but he blasted, and then they just kept walking. I'm like, why didn't they walk around?
Yeah, they can literally just walk around it. One of the things when something that glaringly stupid happens, it just makes me want to headbutt a desk.
You could have jumped over it. In my
Well,
opinion.
there were kind of mountains like on either side of the barricade.
But then
At least on
you
one side.
see to the right of the checkpoint, there's a great big gap.
Yeah,
and the bit of the mountain, you can literally just hop over that bit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing when I saw it. I'm like, wait, I thought they were blasting it so he could drive through, but no, it
reminded me of like Hot Shots 2, where the guy is 3/4 of the way out the cave to get the cage to get the keys, go back in the cave.
Yeah. Or like Blazing Saddles, where they put that fucking barricade, in the middle of the desert and even though they could go either side of it. Oh god. What I would have done was I would have brought the vehicle as close to the lasers as possible, climbed on the vehicles and jumped over if he couldn't jump over himself. Anyway, let's quickly read what the comments are saying. A-Train said the beginning was great, love Vader's introduction and how drawn out it was. The middle sections of the episode was pretty bland, but it definitely picks up in the final sections. Although I would have loved it if they saved the proper confrontation with him and Vader in later episodes, but by the end it seems like an appetizer encounter before the main one later on. Well, let's hope so, because people might be assuming that's the case, but you just never know. But hopefully we will get that. We're all assuming that's for sure. Reva was much better too, I thought. Her as a sideline character and Vader being more prominent works so much better for her role. Yeah,
I totally disagree. I don't. Yeah, Vader being more prominent in this, I feel like takes away from everything in this series. I really do.
I'm not fussed either way. I mean, like, I do feel Reva's not going to last. I think she'll be dead by the end of the show. But I mean, like, Vader is a prominent thing, and I kind of knew he was going to be in this with all the fandom and shit like that, with Hayden Christensen being involved in
Well, and I didn't mind like the parts you're probably getting into in a little bit here with Vader going through the streets and that. I didn't mind that. I'm just talking about her being sidelined. Just like I want more with this person because obviously she's a Sith and she's well, not a Sith, but she's an Inquisitor. She's probably not going to make it. We all
She's a
know that.
Sith.
So I would rather have more of her than Vader. We know plenty about Vader, and yeah, the scene of her walking through the streets was badass and evil, but at the same time, it's like.
I look at it like this: when like when Palpatine came on the scene in Return of the Jedi, to a degree, Vader was sidelined. When your superior officer's there, you're gonna be in the shadows a little bit. It's just a natural occurrence. So I have no problem because it's just how it is. They all bow down to Vader, so to speak. Anyway, so more troopers arrive, and the Empire kills the troopers. The Empire officer kills the troopers. She's actually a spy, and this was the person they were supposed to meet. This was like the liaison person that they were told to meet, and she happens to be a spy in the Empire, and she kills those troopers. The Inquisitors now know where Obi Wan is, and they're all trying to gain favor with Vader individually. The spy takes Obi and Leia to a hiding place. We meet a loader droid. And we also see some wall markings of previous defectors and Jedi, including a Jedi called Quaylen. Now, this guy is actually in the Clone Wars. I'm not sure if you guys are.
Quinlan Vos.
Sorry?
Quinlan Vos.
Quinlan. Yeah, sorry. I spelled it incorrectly.
He's actually. I just to quickly say, I'm actually very, very surprised we've got Quinlan Vos. And the only reason I think we got him is because he carried over into the cartoons, because he is from the expanded universe of the comic books. Now I know this because I have the action figure and I read the comics. And he's a great Jedi. Like if you could do a show based on Quinlan Vos, that would be fantastic because he's a bit more lighthearted, a bit more rebellious, a bit more sarcastic as a character.
It's kind of like us.
It was great.
It's kind of like us.
Kind of like us, yeah. It was great hearing his name. I didn't know that he was in like the Clone Troopers or Rebels series or whatever. So I just thought it was like a callback to the lore until I Googled it quickly to see that, oh no, he was actually in the cartoon as well.
Yeah, he was in the Clone Wars cartoons. So he's about. So will we see him in this show? I'm not so sure. But they have set him up to be, I guess, used in future Star Wars material. That's for sure.
Coming for sure.
Yeah. So the spy's about to take Obi-Wan through the secret tunnel when Obi-Wan feels Vader through the Force, and we see Vader roaming the streets, Force choking people and breaking necks. After he feels, after he feels Kenobi in the Force, that's what he starts doing. He's just walking along. Feels Kenobi in the Force, then starts choking people, breaking necks, and all of that sort of stuff, being very, very ruthless. This was the first time we kind of saw Darth Vader really being Darth Vader since Rogue One, I guess.
Rogue One.
So yeah, exactly. So what do you think of all of that? I'll start with you, Ginger Greek.
Right, where did we get up to? So we obviously have the Imperial Trooper, which double crosses, which again, like if you see in the previous video, my prediction was where they're going is towards where there are meant to be rebels. And so we got to see that, but only one for some reason. Obviously, the rest have scarpered off. And then, blah, 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 we'll get to that. I was obviously happy when I saw Quinlan Vos's name pop up. And then when Vader comes along, just love the way it hits Kenobi. The acting, the fear, the trauma of it, that his old apprentice that he killed, an old partner, friend that he killed, is just back. And you feel that moment. And I thought it was really, really well done. And then when you have Vader just walking around, just breaking necks and choking people, I just thought, oh, this is fantastic. This is what you want to see. Don't give me no softy redemption crap. And yes, sweetie. Yeah. Don't give me no redemption stuff. Just, be a vicious piece of crap. So, yeah, I enjoyed that scene. It was very, very haunting.
Very much so. Darth Mason?
So at the beginning of that sequence when we're first introduced to the the Imperial spy officer, I just almost wanted to laugh because we've just come off of a scene of Obi Wan like shooting the shit out of like 8 troopers, cutting one in half, and killing the transport the driver, killing all these motherfuckers, right? And then a transport comes up and the gate opens up and there's like 3 troopers in it, and Obi-Wan's like, what? I mean, you just killed like 8 of them, and oh no, there's 3 more. Better surrender.
She literally shot them before they got off the transport.
Yeah, but I mean, but Obi-Wan was like, "Oh, they've got us now because there's 3 of them, even though I just killed 8 of them." It didn't make sense to me, but seeing Vader going through the streets like trashing everybody, it just it felt a little like this. Well, this has been done before. Rogue One. It was terrifying when we saw that in Rogue One, and it's like, oh, it's this again. Well, we've seen it before. I mean, I think it would have had more impact if it hadn't just been done a few years ago. But it's like, okay, well, Vader just choking the shit out of people and throwing people around.
It's his thing, baby.
It was scary. It was scary the first time,
Yeah.
But he's doing his thing. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's Vader. That's how he rolls,
It's Force choking is definitely his signature. Cousin Chio?
I actually disagree with you, Darth Mason. This is different because, like, at least in Rogue One, he was going after rebel troopers. Like, they were military people and everything. He was grabbing. He snapped a dude. Like, this guy went out and said, "Daddy" or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was an older, like, older teen or whatever. But he fucking the dude ran out and he. Not even a second thought. Like, it could have been a 7-year-old, and he's just like, goodbye.
Everybody like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, and then he's dragging the woman behind him. I'm like, holy fuck, what? Like, I was the same boat as Obi-Wan. I'm like, what have you become? Like, we've seen a lot of Vader shit, but this is the darkest, I feel. Like, even with all of the other shit, like, that he's done, like, he's force choked and killed all these troopers, rebel troopers, tortured people like Han Solo and all that. Like, that's all that, whatever. But like, this scene right here for me was like, it was a defining moment for Vader. Like, I didn't have to see Obi-Wan versus Vader in this episode. That scene right there would have left an impact on me with Vader. I was like, holy shit, that's savage. That is the word I would like to stamp across this scene. This scene is savage. Look away. Whew.
The funny thing is, I was laughing at the time with enjoyment. I was impressed. Like I said, when you see Disney going there and like, wow, they went there. It's like, you tip your hat. A-Train says, I understand. I think this is regarding Reva. I understand that you would want more time with Reva, but she had been the lead antagonist pretty much for the first 2 episodes. I'm not saying that we need Vader all the time, but it's a nice change of pace. Yeah, I don't mind. And we kind of saw her cunning a little bit because whilst the other 2 Inquisitors were fucking around, she was using her noggin to investigate shit, and we'll get to that in a second now. So we find out the spy's name. Her name is Tala, and Kenobi tells Tala and Leia to go whilst he distracts Vader. And then Obi-Wan and Vader finally meet. And we have the lines, "What have you become?" And Vader responds, "I am what you made me." And then they duel, and Obi-Wan's quite kind of rusty. You can see that he hasn't, been entwined with the Force. He hasn't been lightsaber dueling like he was constantly during the Clone Wars. And Vader is just angry as they lock lightsabers. And then Reva herself, while she's doing her investigation, she finds a secret tunnel. And Vader, back to the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan. Vader creates a pit of fire. I was wondering what he was doing when he threw all those rocks down. He was able to ignite these rocks using the Force, I guess. And then he started burning Obi-Wan. Like, this was fucking savage.
I thought he lit it with the lightsaber.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He did.
My bad.
Yeah.
I missed that. So yeah, but he starts burning all these rocks, and then he starts Force choking Obi-Wan, and then he throws him into the fire. and starts burning him. Like Obi-Wan's only like the side of his body's burning, but he's pretty much in there. Like he's, in my opinion, what kind of caught me off with this thing is that his face should have been burning as well. He was that much in it. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, he's then saved by Tyler, causing a distraction because she shoots some machinery and shoots a stormtrooper. And then Leia, now all alone because Tyler's left her, Leia's having to find a pilot by herself, runs into Reva, who killed the pilot. And so now it looks like Leia has been captured by Reva, and that's how the episode ends. So that was our finale, kind of left with a cliffhanger. Obi-Wan's incapacitated to a degree. I'm sure he's going to get force healed somehow. You might end up with Yoda to get force healed. Who knows? Maybe we might see Quinlan who force heals him. Who knows? But yeah, he's fucked. Or maybe in the back of the tank. You never know. What do you think of that final part of the episode with him being burnt and all that shit? I'll start with you, Cheeto.
This is where the episode kind of got up its own ass. Although I did like the fact that if we did go here, that Vader was just sat. As I said, the word is savage. The word of the week is savage, because he was savage. And you're right, Zam. He should have been a lot more burnt up than he actually was. The part like where they light the fire, they light the fire again, like after Obi-Wan gets thrown and they light the fire again. She shoots it and lights the fire again. Is like, so Vader's just gonna stand there. Like Vader's gonna act like he can't sit there and part the flames with the fucking Force, walk across there and grab Obi-Wan. Like, that blows my mind. Leia getting captured again. Oh no! Like, whatever's gonna happen to Leia? I hope she doesn't die. I mean, that's the stupid stakes decisions that they make. There are no stakes here for Obi-Wan and Leia, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But don't sit there and manufacture stakes when we know there are none. If you want to put other things in jeopardy that we don't see in the future and we actually worry about. I mean, for fuck's sake, where's Lola in the future? We might lose Lola. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? Now, when they
never saw her again.
Well, when they do the remaster, all they're going to have is an edited Lola following Leia around the whole time. It's not going to say, they're not going to interact with it. It's just going to be following her around. But
Fair enough.
Okay, and then the Jedi fight was just like, I get why they did the fight the way they did. I just hated the fact that they did it. I get it. Obi-Wan's rusty. Vader's angry. Vader's using hate, so he's sloppy. Obi-Wan is rusty, so he's sloppy. I get that. I'm not debating. The fight was fine, but why? Why are we doing this right now? I don't care. I don't want this.
It's an appetizer.
And that's the thing, is that they're if this was the only confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader, fine. I'm okay with that. Because I don't want, as Mason said, and I'm not preaching canon, but I'm just saying we know where they're going. We know what's happening here. But we don't know what's going to happen with the other characters that we don't know where they're going. What about Reva? Does Obi-Wan kill Reva? Does Vader kill Reva? I have more stakes in that because I'm what happened to her? And as stupid as it sounds, but the Lola droid. Not that I actually care about what happens to the stupid droid, but I'm there's stakes there because it's what's going to happen? Vader, Obi-Wan, and Leia should just not be in the positions that they're in. When they were fighting, I'm well, I mean, Obi-Wan's obviously going to make it. There's no problem here. That's why I'm just I don't understand the reasoning behind the decisions they're making other than appeasing fans. And honestly, I think that takes away from storytelling.
For me, he's only moved a few meters away from where Vader is, and he's totally fucked. Vader should be, and the stormtroopers should be able to catch up with him, very quickly and finish off the job. I'm also a bit concerned that we haven't seen any Obi-Wan and Luke coming together as sort of moments. I mean, we've seen obviously a lot with Leia, but Luke and Obi-Wan, they should have some interactions in this show, in my opinion. Some sort of interaction.
They've already had interaction.
No, but but they obviously, Luke knows who Obi-Wan is. So let's see
By
how he
name.
was. No, he knew who he was. I'm pretty sure they've known each other. During his time on Tatooine.
I think he made it sound like though that he had only heard of him in A New Hope. Like, oh, old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, I wonder
Oh.
if he means old Ben Kenobi. Like it's just a name that he's heard because when they meet, Luke doesn't know who the fuck he is.
Didn't
even-
he say
I mean,
like, "Oh
okay.
Ben, aren't I happy to see you?" Like he goes like that after you get saved by the Tusken Raiders. Doesn't he say that?
No, he doesn't know who this
No?
guy is because he's asking him, and he's like, looking for Obi Wan Kenobi. He's like, is he dead? Oh, he's not dead, not yet. Anyway.
No,
you
he's
know who
me.
he is? Of course I know
Yeah,
who he is. He's me.
I know what
Yeah.
you mean by that, but I mean, and regarding that, Ben Kenobi and Luke have met, at least once before prior to A New Hope. I just assumed that would be the case.
But it made it sound like in the first 2 episodes that at least in the first episode, that they had already met before. Like, not in like super, like, it's not like they had a play date, but like maybe Luke has given him like the care packages or whatever in person, but like, here you go, young lad, take this, blah, blah, blah. Like it's just in passing, but like.
Fair enough. Well, Obi-Wan still needs to get repaired, and Leia still needs to be rescued. So that's going to come in, and we've only got 3 episodes to cover all this now. So we'll see how that pans out.
I think Boba Fett's back to tank is going to fall out of the sky, and then he's just going to put him in it.
Yeah, for sure. But Boba Fett needed like many times in the back to tank before he was fully, recovered. Anyway, but before I pass it on to James, let me just quickly have a quick look at the chat here. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, but I mean, you can literally say that about the prequels. We know Obi-Wan survives through them because the original trilogy is the same here. Manufacturers takes apart prequel stuff. I mean, that's what you get with prequels, unfortunately.
But also, we had Padme, who we didn't know what happened to. There were other characters. Mace
Qui-Gon.
Mace Windu. Like there are people in these trilogies that we were like, well, where did they go in the prequel or in the original trilogy? And that we wanted to see where they went. And I get it.
Well,
like there were definitely people who had no stakes, but they really didn't put them in any immediate jeopardy either. Like, I mean, Anakin and Obi-Wan, they had that one really crazy fight at Mustafar, but like they didn't really, like, we knew that they were both going to make it out. It was just a really flashy fight scene. Like, we didn't worry about them at any given point.
Also, like for me, like when I watched episode 2 of the prequels, and I see Yoda training these younglings, I'm thinking, are they going to actually kill kids in this? Because all these Jedi are supposed to die. That's how I was interpreting it. And then boom, they did it. They did it in episode 3. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not in the original trilogy, you're more likely to be dead. So, in the past. So that's how I say it. Anyway, Ginger Greek. These final parts with the burning of
yeah, this is where the whole episode just derailed for me and went down Shitsville. Everything apart, everything here I just fucking hated with a passion. First of all, Vader's delivery of dialogue was just like, it's like somebody's just holding the cue card, just read this one line. You just, as you walk, you do one line, and he's trying to walk and do one line and all this, and it's just like, why are you just spouting off one-liners? You two have met for the first time in like a decade. There should be this epic moment of dialogue talking about the fallout and what happened and rage. Like Vader should become like enraged and be, unable to control himself, and he's losing his shit, not being able to fight properly and all this. And we get this lightsaber battle that was just, to me, just felt like Vader's just taunting Obi-Wan. Is like, no, I'll throw in some noises too, and all this kind of stuff. It just felt flat on its ass. And then we get to the point where, he uses the Force, lights a fire, drags him through the fire. I thought, oh, this bit's cool. And then, like you said, only part of him's getting burnt, the parts you can just cover up. And then one rebel chick shows up, shoots a stormtrooper, relights the fire, and then Vader's like, "Ah, shit. Well, that's it. I can't. Oh well. I guess we'll just leave now. It's not like I can use the Force to just go like, huh? Or just kick up a load of dust and just lay it on the fire, or fucking jump over the fucking fire. You know, anything. It's so illogical. What should have happened there is a band of rebels come in, a massive fight happens, Obi Wan gets away, the rebels get slaughtered, and and it builds more tension to say, like, we just sacrificed a bunch of people to save this guy. It better be important. But now what we got was a limp dick pile of shit. My cat's getting scared because I'm shouting now. A limp dick pile of shit that completely derailed everything and left a massive sour matter from what was otherwise a pretty decent episode. Like,
Fair
I don't
enough.
care, Leia, oh great, the Inquisitor. I thought it was cool, like, she doesn't know who that Inquisitor chick is. And so she's gone with her. But there are no stakes with Leia. We know this for a fact. We don't know if Leia now is going to play a part in turning the Inquisitor, because obviously we saw her face change when she saw the rebel sign, but then again she killed the pilot, so hopefully not, because I like Reva being just horrible. But it's just like, just derailed the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. I am really concerned. I really hope they alleviate my concerns by not making Reva like see the light, so to speak, because she was a Jedi and stuff. I don't want Obi-Wan to talk around her or anything like that. I want her to remain evil. All right. A good episode overall. I think Lara is there for too long, but I love Vader. Was that Hayden in the suit? He was great. I think that might have been Hayden Christensen in the suit.
They say it is. I think they said beforehand.
I think, but not a lot. I think River was good, but not a lot. Okay, fair enough. All right, Mason.
Well, Ginger's commentary is a little tough to follow, so a little tough to follow that commentary. So I don't disagree with anything you said. So all I do want to say is on stakes. Talking about stakes, Cheeto, you were saying it first. Is exactly why, to me, like, I really got sucked into the Clone Wars from the beginning, from the movie, and that's why Ahsoka Tano became like the most interesting character to me, because like, oh, what's going to happen to her? Because there's stakes with her, because we know Anakin. You got Anakin, you got Obi Wan. We know what happens to them. We know what happens to Mace Windu. All these other Jedi characters. But Ahsoka, we don't know what happens to her. Asajj Ventress, we don't know what's in store for her. These are two like brand new characters to us. So that's what really interested me about the Clone Wars, was those two characters in particular, Ahsoka and Ventress.
And that's why Rebels, honestly, and I haven't watched either Clone Wars or Rebels all the way through in their entirety. I probably should, but I haven't. But that's why Rebels interests me more than Clone Wars, because Rebels, you have a bunch of characters there that you don't like. They don't have any moving forward things, into A New Hope. So it's like all of them could die, or some of them could die, or I guess the Mandalorian, we see one of them or something like that. But still, but that's the stakes I'm talking about. It's like I'm more interested in seeing what happens with these characters rather than Obi-Wan, Anakin, R2D2, C3PO. It's just, I don't know. But I agree with you.
This is also the other problem we're having now as well, is like you're just finding out in the cartoons that nobody's fucking dying because they're all showing up in all the bloody spin-offs that are coming out. Like Ezra's still around, and
Rex apparently is still alive.
The Mandalorian chick that's going to be in Ahsoka is still alive, and it's just like, nobody fucking died in this. The Inquisitor's going to pop up, g'day. So it's just like you're taking away all the stakes. Like, why am I watching an animated show, which I don't really watch them? I mean, I enjoyed Rebels, but it's just like, oh well, who the fuck is dying in these things? They're just popping up again in live action. So don't bother making any more cartoons that center around this time period, because we know they're going to show up as live action eventually.
If they're popular enough, they'll find a way to bring them back. Look at Ahsoka. Ooh. I mean, Ahsoka, we thought, died in Rebels when she faced off against Vader again. And, it wasn't for sure, obviously. Yeah. They left it open-ended for a reason. But now, because of Mandalorian Season 2, we know she didn't die fighting Vader again. So that's why it's like, they give them long enough, they'll screw any of these characters up.
Theoretically,
That-
she should be
that-
Luke.
that's
She
why
should
I
be
said-
Luke's master.
Yeah, I mean this is why
Yeah.
I said it. Just continuity and lore just doesn't matter.
That's
in
why
these,
Star
'cause
Wars
they,
just
they've
needs to-
screwed everything up.
Star Wars
So
needs
now
to
it's-
go in the future or the past, like we've been saying. They just need to go.
Yeah, just leave it alone. Stop, but they're going to milk it. We're going to get another 10 shows that focus around the Skywalker saga, and then eventually, when we've gotten to the point where we do Gonk the fucking movie and all this kind of stuff, then eventually we might go into the past or into the future. I'd rather just go into the future and start afresh.
Porg a Star
I
Wars
want-
special.
I know. I'm still going way back in the past with the Old Republic personally, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
they're going to fuck it up, though, Sam. That's the problem. So at
Yeah,
least with
that's
the
what I'm
New
saying, like,
they're
Republic,
gonna
you know-
fuck up if they go in the future too.
you know,
dude.
yeah, but it doesn't matter then. There's no stakes. There's no.
Okay,
You're
yeah,
not
I
going to
agree.
piss everyone off because it doesn't really matter. We
No,
don't
go
care.
100 years in the future.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like they made the Star Wars sequels, and that's the future, and that's fucking shit, and everyone was pissed off about that.
Yeah, but it was too close to the sky.
It was
the
too close to
Skywalker
stay within the
saga. Yeah, the
We mean
Skywalker
no
saga is fucking
nobody,
bullshit.
not even a fucking droid from this period should be in the upcoming films. Like nothing you can call back to the old period other than saying, "Oh, back in the Battle of Yavin" kind of era. But that's all. Like no characters.
Okay.
'Cause then at least that way we could be like, "Yeah, this sucks," or "Hey, this is surprisingly good," and it's not
Hey,
relying on fan service.
Go
Well,
ahead,
I'll tell you one Star Wars show that definitely had stakes for every character. Ewoks Caravan of Courage.
Oh my! Oh yeah, yeah.
Have I seen that?
If you haven't, don't.
Well, but that's
Okay.
what's also so great about Rogue One. All the main cast, you don't know who they are really, and
And they all died, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
The funny thing is, when it came to Rogue One, I wanted two things. I wanted everyone to die, and I wanted the film to end at the beginning of A New Hope. And I couldn't believe that those two things actually fucking happened. Loved it for
Completely
that.
agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So of course, Adrian says, of course, there has to be stakes for the characters. We don't know the outcome, but there are characters in the series with that fate. This series is more filling in the gaps than anything. Yeah, I do agree with that. Phony Beating Maniac says, why not show the origins of the New Order? I'm not really.
No, fuck off.
Honestly, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about the New Order. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about anything to do with.
Isn't it called the
sequels or
First
television.
Order anyway?
The First Order.
How
Yeah.
does it feel to
Yeah.
treat me like you do?
A-Train, also Clone Wars and Rebels have tons of episodes to flesh out these characters. This is a limited series which lacks the time to introduce and flesh new characters out, and to create stakes. Yeah, fair enough. I do agree.
But it doesn't need to flesh out characters. It just needs to pack it in with a couple of characters that are helping around the Rebel Alliance and the formation of the Rebel Alliance, and all the stakes that they're going for. Much like that, we're going to see in Andor. You could put pockets of that here because Andor, I'm not really looking forward to it anymore. I was at one point, but now with Obi Wan being we're going to see a lot of high stakes there. That's the show we're going in where we're not going to load many characters, maybe just Mon Mothma and maybe Akbar and all this kind of stuff. But there's not a lot of other characters that we're going to know. So there's going to be a lot of stakes. So in this series, they should have more rebels in there, fighters, and kind of gathering en masse. And that's where it would have been more impactful were they all slaughtered at the end of this episode. And that's the downside to the story. This is the down part of this moment where the hero then needs to kind of pick himself up and go forward and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, all right, Kat, all right. And
like Zam
so,
Bird.
yeah.
She's hiding in my wardrobe right now. But yeah. We got Funny Beating. I want to see how the idiots got into power.
Which idiots?
The First Order.
New Order.
Oh, nobody cares. The First Order was a poor person's empire. It was
I thought he was talking about NerdTube.
Oh, that too.
Personally, A-Train says, I don't see the issue. Lots of prequel scenes I watch outside of Star Wars have manufactured states and original states of characters. We don't know the outcome. Well, they're doing that High Republic era and I'm sure there's going to be a few characters, including Yoda, where there'll be a lot of stakes and stuff like that. But I really feel that this is going to be another bomb movie-wise. This High Republic era. What they really need to do is Old Republic, but they will fuck it up.
I really don't want them to do Old Republic.
No,
Old Republic is good in the video games.
No, that's what I'm saying. I want Old Republic done animated like the fucking cutscenes from the Old Republic video games. That's what I want my Old Republic to be, animated like that. Do that. Extend that shit out. I'll be very happy. Some Revan, some Darth Magnus, all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's how I want it. No other way. But those cutscenes, they're the best thing to happen to Star Wars since the original trilogy, in my opinion. And they're just cutscenes from a fucking video game. So it's just absolutely bizarre. Anyways, so that's pretty much the entire episode. I think next week we're going to get an Obi Wan maybe muddling to himself, and as he recovers, I think he'll gain his confidence back.
I think he's finally gonna touch base with Qui-Gon, at least.
Yeah, I think so too. But it'll be interesting to see what Qui-Gon thinks, because he believed in the boy, he believed in Anakin, and now Anakin's turned into this evil fucker. Kind of Qui-Gon's almost semi-responsible for this shit. It'll be interesting to see what Qui-Gon has to say about that, if that is at all addressed when we finally hear him speak, which I do believe a lot of people are banking on hearing Liam Neeson, making a comeback as Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost in some capacity. But yeah, next week I think it's going to be a bit of a slower episode for sure. A self-reflecting episode. What do you guys think will happen next week? I'll start with you, Darth Mason.
I tell you what I don't want to see is, like, I hope you're wrong. What I don't want to see is Obi Wan flashing back to, like, spending a third of each consecutive episode flashing back to his childhood trauma, like Picard season 2. I don't want to see.
I don't want that. I don't want. That would be terrible if they set that up in this episode by him mentioning that, and then all of a sudden we get these flashbacks to his youth. No. If that happens, I'm out. Like,
I don't think we'll get necessarily flashbacks to his youth, but with Hayden Christensen on board on this show, we might get some Clone War flashbacks. So we could see that.
As long as they're animated form. That's all I want. I want that.
Yeah.
That'd be like a claymation. Oh, they could be claymation flashbacks. That'd be great.
What do you think is going to happen next week, Ginge?
I've got a sneaking suspicion that Leia's going to help turn Reva.
That is so worrying.
I'm just worried what's going to happen between them two. Leia should have been back in fucking order now. We should have been moving on from there. But again, she's going to just carry on being for the rest of the show from the looks of it. As with Obi Wan, this is his dark moment. So then he's just going like, well, Leia's gone, the Inquisitor has her. So he's just going to start getting his shit together, and we may see Qui-Gon pop up in this, or we might see other Jedis come about.
Mace Windu comes in and goes, motherfucker, get up.
Yeah, I'm guessing if they want to stick with the continuity, then maybe the Grand Inquisitor kind of comes back as well. Those are my guesses.
I agree. I actually, I'm getting to a stage now where I don't want Mace Windu to come back at all. I think
no, he's fucking dead. Unless he shows up as a ghost. That's fine.
I think people need to. Is that be careful what you wish for sort of thing here. Just don't. Just let him remain dead. So Cheeto, next week, what's going to happen, my son?
It's going to go either okay, or I feel like it's going to go okay or really bad. As I said, if we get like Mason was saying, like the flashbacks and his youth and everything like that, and we get to discover more about his past and like see his mom and his dad and his brother, I really don't want that. I'm okay with the information we got in this episode, him having just these vague memories. But as Mason was saying that a couple minutes ago, and I thought about the setup that they were doing in this episode, God damn it, there's going to be Kenobi family. There's going to be a Kenobi family Lego set. God damn it.
You know what I want to see? I want to see.
And Ginger's going to buy it.
I want to see eventually Tarkin being Vader's boss. Because obviously Tarkin's his boss in episode 4. He tells him what to fucking do. and I want to see that somehow pan out.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to do that again, just
Nah,
because
I
it
don't
kind of
think
got
they'll
some
do that.
backlash in Rogue One. So, which I didn't think was terrible. I mean, it didn't look the best, but yeah, they got a lot of back. The only backlash Rogue One really got was the Tarkin stuff. So
Yeah, but the technology's improved a lot since then.
I'm glad they did it though. They tried it out. They did it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
I didn't
Like,
mind it at all.
Yeah.
People just
I thought the
nitpicking
layer- I
that
thought the
CGI
layer-
wasn't great, but it's like, who
thought the-
cares? You know,
I thought the layer deep fake was worse personally, but that the technology is gone leaps and fucking bounds. So if they can do it again, I have no problem with it. They've done it
I mean,
once.
Tarkin's already around anyway because like you see him at the end of episode 3.
Yeah,
Imperial warship.
Yeah. That if you look at it now, that character model is fucking awful. But nevertheless, I just feel that needs to be explained because it's really weird how someone like Tarkin could be in control of a Sith Lord, and maybe we have Palpatine saying to Vader, "Look, you're fucking reckless. Tarkin's gonna be your boss," or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That I wouldn't mind that in some capacity. If that happens next week, great. If it happens in the show, even better at some particular point. If it doesn't, then
I always saw Tarkin as like a collar. Like, when you have like a dog, like the collar is not more powerful than the dog, but the collar is what keeps that dog, give you the ability to keep that dog in check. I always saw Tarkin as the collar that was like around, like that was there with Vader. And he's just like, yeah, Vader could, it's like a dog. A dog could probably get the collar off at any given time, but then he has to deal with the master. And it's like, and maybe a bad analogy, but that's kind of how I always envisioned it in my mind.
I just
Tarkin was just there to keep Vader in check, but not like control him.
Yeah, I guess. Well, anyway, we'll see how things pan out next week. All right, so I'm going to give this episode I'll start with you, Ginger. What are you going to give this episode out of 10?
I'll give it a 5.
Mason?
6.5.
Gio?
I'll give the first half a 7, and then the second half a 6, just because I didn't. Well, I'm even a 5 for the last part, just because the shit the bed with all that stuff. So maybe a 6 overall. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like there's two totally different things going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be probably the most generous and give it a 7, and that's a generous 7 as well because I thought the introduction of Vader was pretty good, and just some of the moments of like people getting cut in half and stuff like that. I give that 2 thumbs. I give that 2 thumbs up as well. I love shit like that. So
yeah, you're gonna have a good wank about that later as well.
Oh yeah, that and the fucking kid getting his neck broken by Vader. Love that.
Yeah.
And I'll probably finish it off by thinking of Obi Wan being burnt to a fucking crisp. Payback. Payback by Vader for what happened to him on Mustafar. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, Zam gets into that roast and barbecue shit on his grill.
Barbecues.
Oh,
He's
man,
like barbecue Obi Wan.
I made some burgers today. I just 1 minute too long on the grill, and they were blacker than outer space. You know what I mean? I was so pissed off, but I still ate them. Fuck it. I still fucking ate them. All right. To everyone out there who've been with us for the last hour and a bit, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We have the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of, and tomorrow we'll be talking Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I believe the Orville, if that's coming out as well. And this Friday we'll be talking The Boys.
The Boys.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, as well as more Obi Wan, as well as Ms. Marvel next week as well, as well as all the other shit I've already just mentioned too. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining. And to everyone else, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye. And live long and prosper.